Chapter 1. Contributions to build the Tabernacle. Exodus, chapter 25, verses 1 through 7, chapter 35, verses 4 through 29. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the people of Israel, that they take for me a contribution. From every man whose heart moves him, you shall receive the contribution for me. And this is the contribution that you shall receive from them: gold, silver, and bronze, blue and purple and scarlet yarns, and fine twined linen, goat's hair, tanned ram skins, goat skins, acacia wood, oil for the lamps, spices for the anointing oil and for the fragrant incense, onyx stones and stones for setting, for the ephod and for the breastpiece." Exodus chapter 25, verses 1 through 7. Grace is free, airtime isn't. I remember Michael Horton making this statement on the radio program The White Horse Inn back when I was in college. It was a witty way to let listeners know that the show could not continue without the financial support of those who listened. As anyone involved in any non-profit service knows, he was right. In order for Christians to build anything that will spread the good news of Jesus Christ, whether a radio program, a magazine, or a church building, we need to join in sacrificial giving. The situation was the same with our Israelite forefathers in the wilderness. The Israelites knew that their God had created everything out of nothing. Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. Because of that, he owns the cattle on 1,000 hills and does not need man's gifts. Psalm 50, verse 10. Therefore, God could have created a house for his name out of nothing. Yet, God determined that the tabernacle was to be created through the ordinary means of his people's giving. For this reason, the tabernacle narratives do not begin with a mallet, chisel, or measuring line, but with an offering plate. As we begin our meditations on the tabernacle, we turn to Exodus chapter 25, verses 1 through 7, and its parallel in Exodus chapter 35, verses 4 through 29. These sections teach us about Israel's contributions to build the tabernacle. Three truths in these passages teach us much about our giving in the church today: the motivation, the ministry, and the materials. The motivation. First, we learn about the motivation for the contributions. The Lord instructed Moses, Exodus chapter 25, verse 1, to command the people to give a contribution. Verse 2, terima, that is, some portion of their possessions that was dedicated for sacred service. This is what we call, in common Christian parlance, an offering. But in calling for a contribution, the Lord made clear that it was to be driven by a right motivation. It was to come from every man whose heart moves him. Verse 2. Those whose hearts had been stirred by the plagues on the Egyptians, the exodus from Egypt, and the Red Sea crossing would want to give freely. We see another beautiful picture of this in the example of David and Israel. Just before the building of the temple of the Lord, there was another offering. David made a contribution because of my devotion to the house of my God. 1 Chronicles chapter 29, verse 3. Next, he challenged the people to be generous, asking, "Who then will offer willingly, consecrating himself today to the Lord?" Verse 5. We then read of Israel's free will offerings, verse 6, and of their joy in giving them. Then the people rejoiced because they had given willingly, for with a whole heart they had offered freely to the Lord. Verse 9. Digging deeper, we are struck by the language in Exodus chapter 35, verses 4 through 29. This section begins, "This is the thing that the Lord has commanded." Verse 4. Thus, there is a wonderful juxtaposition of what we normally think of as two contradictory ideas: heartfelt offering and God's command. We see these two ideas in the last verse of this passage, which says that the people brought what the Lord had commanded by Moses as a freewill offering to the Lord. Verse 29.